all, welcome to yet another live session of Narayana IAS Academy. So this is Sureka Bhaskar presenting to you the daily news analysis, and of course for today's discussion we've picked up extremely important topics from both the Hindu as well as the Indian Express that become extremely important, and not only that, they are relevant also for the upcoming examination, that is your prelims 2025. So as part of our ritual, let us actually kickstart our day with this particular motivation. So what is the motivation behind me state? Happiness often sneaks in through the door you didn't know you left open. So what does this actually say is that happiness comes to us unexpectedly via opportunities that we did not even imagine or recognize it. Okay. So basically it actually says that we find joy and fulfillment in such places we did not even anticipate. So this is what this quote actually says. So opportunities like happiness, opportunities are also like that. You never know, when one door closes, another automatically opens. Okay, so this is what it is. And provided you are actually good and you are very pure and genuine with your intentions. Now let us move forward and look at what Narayana IAS R&D had actually brought forward to you. That is, in order to ease your preparation, we have brought forth a 110 days self-study planner for the UPSC Prelims Examination 2025. So what is the significance of this planner? It started in the month of February and still we actually have 3 months left because we've actually started with March only right now, right? So March, April and May, you can follow this planner. We have actually categorized the topics thematically, the sub-themes according to the weightage of the topics that have been asked in the PYQs, that is your previous year prelims examination. And adding feather to the crown, we have also correspondingly included the critically important current affairs from that particular topic which might actually appear in your examination. So this happens to be a one-stop planner where you can trust us and follow the planner accordingly, because it's a day-to-day planner. Okay, so you can cover your syllabus and have the satisfaction that you have covered it. Also there is also simultaneous CSAT planner, and this also covers your current affairs, the weightage of the previous year questions, etc. So this becomes extremely significant for your prelims examination. Apart from that, we have actually brought about a 1-year prelims cum mains integrated course for the 2026 prelims examination, and we of course have a 2-year prelims cum mains integrated course for the 2027 examination. So the total duration of this particular course will be for around 1000 hours, where 800 hours are exclusively dedicated for your GS, that is your general studies and CSAT, and the remaining 200 hours exclusively for current affairs, so that you stay in touch and you are able to solve any current affairs questions that are linked to the static portions of your syllabus. And also this will actually cover, that is, it's a holistic and a comprehensive plan which will help you ace all the 3 stages of the examination, be it your prelims, the mains, as well as the interview stage of the examination. And now why this is actually more significant is that apart from teaching you, that is, the experts will teach you the relevant subjects, we also provide you the strategic micro schedule. Okay, so this is something similar to your study plan, that is, we will actually give you a schedule what you have to do every day, and what are all the topics that you need to cover thematically, the sub themes, the kind of PYQs that have been asked, and as per the weightage we will actually give you the strategic micro syllabus so that you actually stay in pace, or you actually stay in the correct road to your destination of cracking this examination. And also, in order to provide you feedback and for your introspection if you are performing well in your examination, we have come up with the regular testing mechanisms, that is via our Saksham test series, and also following that we will actually give you personalized feedback. Okay, so this is actually done right now. So having said this, let us see the topics that we will be dealing with for today's discussion. Okay, so we have picked up 4 topics in total. So the first topic has actually been picked up from page number 12 of the Hindu, Beyond Beijing, Unlocking a Feminist Future in India. So here you will actually see a lot of women empowerment and gender parity, gender rights article for the next couple of days, after which women are forgotten. Okay, so I actually feel, in my personal opinion, that women or men in that case have to be celebrated every day, and you should not wait for anyone else to celebrate you. You have to keep yourself happy and cherished from within. So that is when you will celebrate yourself and you will pass on that to the next generation. So, beyond Beijing unlocking a feminist future, so here we'll actually be talking about what have been the significant strides that India has actually made or has been making in order to, what to say, towards the women empowerment or the gender parity. Okay, so this also talks about the Beijing Declaration or Platform for Action that was adopted in the year 1995. So, in this particular article, we will actually look at the areas in which India has made significant strides. However, what are all the challenges? Okay, so we will see how, for example, in the field of healthcare, how women have actually given employment. For example, there are a lot of ASHA workers, the Anganwadi workers, etc. However, what are the challenges that they actually face? Because they do not have any kind of social security, they do not have any kind of advantages like other kinds of jobs where they give, where they actually have leave, pensions, permissions, etc. So this is what we will actually be discussing. So this will be your mains article. And also, as discussed, we will be talking about this Beijing Declaration. When, why was it adopted, and what are the critical areas it actually focuses on. Okay, so moving forward, the second article will be a prelims article, and this is actually picked up from page number 4 of the Hindu. This is the Delhi edition. So, Assam governor will now head the autonomous councils if the polls are actually delayed. Okay, so this is nothing but recently the Assam Assembly has actually passed few amendments to the bills stating that the governor will be given the authority in order to monitor the functioning of the autonomous district councils in case the elections to this particular body is actually delayed, because this autonomous district council has 30 members, of which 4 members are nominated by the governor and the remaining 26 members are elected. So when that election is actually delayed, then what happens is that the governor shall take charge of the functioning, is what the amendments that the Assam Assembly has actually passed recently. So what is important from this particular article for us to understand is the concept of autonomous district councils, and over here we will be discussing about what is schedule 5 and what is schedule 6, under which special provision does this schedule 6 actually result in the establishment of autonomous district councils. Okay, so here this will be a prelims article. Following that, the third article has actually been picked up from page number 16 of the Hindu, that is government launches AI Kosh, that is a repository of data to build models as well as tools. So we have different countries actually coming up with their own models, right? Like you have the United States, and you have China recently coming up with the DeepSeek, etc. Right? So these are the AI models, and India also on those lines actually wants to. That is on the lines of these AI models, like you have Chat GPT. Then we have this particular DeepSeek that I actually told. Okay, so on these lines, India also wants to develop its own AI model. Okay, an indigenous AI model, that is development will be indigenous and it will be available to the whole world. For that, they have actually come up with this particular AI course, which will be a platform where there are actually a repository of non-personal data set. Okay, so for the AI training, they actually collect all the data and they train this particular platform. Do you understand? So this is what it is. Now moving for, okay, yeah, this will also be a prelims article. Now moving forward, the last article has been picked up from page number 16 of the Indian Express, which talks about Pashu Aushadhi Initiative of the health of for the health of livestock. Here, the government has actually come up with one initiative that is called as the Pashu Aushadhi Initiative. This is nothing but, why is it necessary in order to take care of the life and health of the livestock, is that we had the 20th livestock census, right? So that actually revealed, okay, the sorry and the vulnerable state of the livestock or the cattle, the bovine animals like the buffalo, sheep and all those things. So actually sheep does not come under bovine, so these are overall called as livestock, right? So they are actually affected by a number of diseases like the foot and mouth disease, take it brucellosis, as well as the lumpy skin disease, etc. So in order to prevent that, what should be done? Affordable generic medicines have to be given to the people, that is the herders or the farmers, or the people who are actually involved in animal husbandry as well as dairying. Okay, for this process or for this particular supply of affordable medicines to them, the government has come up with this Pashu Aushadhi Initiative. So this is going to be again a prelims article. So we will actually discuss all these four in detail very quickly, and finally we will solve few prelims practice questions as well as a model mains answer with the approach. Okay. So now the very first article, beyond Beijing, that is I told you there was a Beijing declaration and platform for action, and this was signed in the year 1995 in China, and it actually has 12 critical areas which mainly focuses on the women empowerment as well as gender rights, gender parity, children as well as sex ratio, etc. Okay, so based on that, or taking that as the guidelines, we will see what have been the significant efforts that have actually been taken by India in order to achieve women empowerment. Okay, so here important I'm sorry for that. So, the relevance of this topic for the examination is that women empowerment, very, very important, and also gender equality is important. And this particular topic can be mapped to GS paper 1, that is mains examination, salient features of the Indian society, social empowerment, GS paper 2, also vulnerable sections. Okay, now let us move forward and see the previous year question. Though women in post independent India have excelled in various fields, the social attitude towards them still remains patriarchal. Okay, so this is what is very, very important. So, women as a topic becomes extremely important. On top of it, any kind of declaration and what kind of patriarchy or the difficulty they actually face right from home to the workplace, etc. We will actually see, and how they are used as unpaid labor. Okay, for nurturing. So all that we will actually see in this particular article. Now moving forward, let us see why this particular article has been in news on International Women's Day, that is tomorrow. Okay, India's progress in gender equality aligned with the Beijing Declaration signed in 1995 reflects what is the kind of strides we've actually taken towards women empowerment. Yet, you see, there are disparities. Okay, so whatever we'll do, we actually have challenges and disparities, and here we will see what are the true efforts that have actually been made for the gender parity. Okay, so now let us quickly move forward and see what has been the historical perspective of gender equality in India. If you actually consider, during the ancient and the medieval times, women in India actually enjoyed a good social status in the Vedic times. Okay, so they were actually a part of the education processes as well as the decision making, process in a society. So some, they were also, some societies were even matrilineal in nature. Okay, that is where the woman is supposed to be the head of the family. And however, with time, what happened, there were a lot of patriarchal norms where there were restrictions on their mobility, their education and their autonomy. Okay, so this was the situation of women in the ancient and the medieval India. However, as we transcended to the colonial period, what happened? In order to reform the evils in the society, we had social reformers. Okay, in the 19th century, like we had Mr. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who was responsible for abolition of sati. And also we had reformers like Jyotirao Phule and his wife Savitri Bhai Phule, who actually worked towards education of women. And moving forward, we had Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, who brought about the concept of widow remarriage. Okay, so it is widow remarriage. And so this was actually the period which saw the beginning of legal as well as social changes. Now, moving on to post-independence India, where we actually became independent in 1947. There was adoption of the constitution in 1950. This actually gave equal rights. That is, it granted equal rights to both men and women. Okay, and also we saw the establishment of formulation of landmark laws and regulations such as the Hindu Remarriage Act of 1955. Then we had the Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961 as well as Maternity Benefit Act of 1961. Okay, so now let us actually move forward after seeing the historical perspective. Now let us actually connect and see what is the current status of gender equality in India. So though we actually saw the situation of the condition of women, historically there are disparities that I told you. So this is very evident from the observation and the key what to say highlights that the global indices and the national reports actually give. So first of all, let us actually see the global gender gap index. Here you will see India ranked 127th, okay, out of 146 countries in this global gender gap index. However, there is a significant improvement because earlier in 2022, if you see, the ranking was 135. But still, India lags in very, very important parameters like economic participation, where we are only 142nd, and political empowerment, where we are only 48th. Okay. Next one, in terms of sex ratio. What do you mean by sex ratio? The number of females born per thousand male population. Okay, the number of females per thousand population, not born, per thousand population. So sex ratio, according to the National Family Health Survey 5 2021, there are 120 females per thousand males, and this is however an improvement, but still there are patriarchy and discrimination that still prevails. Next, if you see the female labor force participation rate, that is how much of females, that is women, are involved in the labor participation, that is how much of them are employed. Okay, so here 37%, and this is actually a significant improvement because earlier it was only around 32.8%, but this is far below the global average, where the global average is around 50%. Okay, now moving forward, women in parliament. If you see, there are only the proportion or the percentage of women in the parliament is around 15.2% in the Lok Sabha, 13.4% in the Rajya Sabha, and this actually makes India rank 144th globally by the Inter-Parliamentary Union. Okay, so what is this? It is the largest political organization. This Inter-Parliamentary Union is the largest political organization that enhances the coordination between various national parliaments across the globe. Okay, so this was actually established somewhere in 1889. This was established in Paris, and it has its headquarters in Switzerland, that is in Geneva. Okay, so this is what it is. Now moving forward, if you see again crimes against women, again the National Crime Records Bureau of 2023 has stated that the number of rape cases, that is the rape actually occurs to women every 16 minutes, and the domestic violence also accounts to around 30% of the cases. Very, very concerning and saddening. Okay, now let's move forward and see what are the key areas of progress that India has made towards reaching this gender parity and achieving women rights and women empowerment. At the same time, what are all the challenges that these actually face? Okay, first one, in terms of education, we can see a very good news is that the literacy has actually increased to around 8.9%. Okay, from the literacy has actually increased from 8.9% to 92% according to the National Family Health Survey 2021. And also the Indian government has actually brought about various schemes for the welfare, right? One such is the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, that is the triple B peace scheme, and this has actually improved the gross enrollment ratio of children in the secondary education, okay, by around 77.5%. However, what are the challenges here? 25% of the, however these schemes are there, the literacy has increased, etc. However, 25% of the rural women never attend school, and one major reason is early marriage, because of which the dropout rate in the secondary or the higher education is actually more. Next one, healthcare and nutrition. So the government has actually brought about various provisions for enhancing the institutional deliveries, and this has been around 95% according to NFHS. And if you see the maternal mortality rate, okay, so that is how many women actually die when they are giving birth to a child. So that has dropped from 130, and as of 2020 it is actually 90. Okay, now moving forward, however the institutional deliveries are there, or the MMR has actually decreased, still there is high prevalence of anemia. Okay, that is around 57% of women who are aged between 15 to 49 years of age are anemic according to the survey. And also there are underweight mothers. Okay, so because of their underweight, it also impacts the child in the womb, and that is why it actually contributes to stunting as well as malnutrition. So now, so we have actually seen the sectors of education and health. Now moving on, let us see the economic participation, that is the employment rate of women in the economy. So if you see the female labor force participation rate, this has actually increased to 37% from the earlier 32.8%. And there are a lot of self-help groups for women that have been established under the National Rural Livelihood Mission, and this actually connected around 100 million women to the financial networks. However, again the challenges, what are the challenges is 81% of Indian women are still engaged in this nurturing as well as the care economy. This is what is called as the care economy. Okay, so women are unpaid and they actually take care of their children as well as the household. So they are unpaid, they are doing unpaid household work. And also there is a wage gap where women earn 34% less than that of man for similar kind of jobs. Okay, next one, political representation. So if you see the women reservation bill that was actually brought about in the year 2023, this mandates 33% of reservation in both the Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies. However, if you see women in governance, they actually remain low. Only 15.2% of MPs are women, whereas the global average is around 25%. The next one is that there are different barriers for this particular what to say, participation or increased participation of women. One is the social norms, that is women must be more restricted to home, and they actually have gender based roles, that is men go out for work and you should take care of the home. So such social barriers. Next one is economic dependency. They depend on, first they depend on the father when they are a student, then they depend upon the husband when they are married, then they depend upon the son when they age. So this is the kind of economic dependency the women actually face, very sad, a very sad state. Next one is panchayat patriarchy. What happens despite the panchayati rules actually given for reservation to one third of the women? What happens is that the husbands actually rule in their name. Okay, that is they make the wife contest and win the election. However, the rule and the governance is actually taken up by their husband. So this is what is called as the concept of panchayat pati phenomenon. So pati means husband. Now moving forward. Now let's look at the crime and safety. We actually saw, right, the NCRB records, actually there are 16 every 16 minutes there are rape cases. Also there are domestic abuse and violence against women, and also there are different cyber crimes that are targeting women in particular. Okay, so because of that, what government has actually brought forward, this has established around 770 one-stop centers and one-stop centers for the survivors of domestic violence, and these centers will actually provide what to say, medical as well as psychological support to you. Next one, there is also the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita that replaced the IPC 2023. This actually strengthened the legal protection for women. And the challenges I told you, crime rates increasing and cyber crimes are actually targeting women. Next one is digital and financial inclusion. If you see today, 79%, that is almost 80% of women have bank accounts, and this is actually the data given by NSHS. And also the government has actually come up with UPI, right, that is gender neutral, it's for all of us. And also we have the rural digital literacy program that is called as the digital Saksharta Abhiyan, where it has trained around 35 million rural women in digital literacy. However, you have the app, you have everything, but you have the financial decision making is actually made by males, okay, they are male dominated, and only 18% of the earning women make independent financial decisions. And also, if you see the unicorns, that is the startups that are actually started, very few of them are women led, okay. They are only 7% of the Indian unicorns are women led. Now moving forward, let us actually see what are all the constitutional provisions that establish the gender parity and women empowerment in India. First, of course, is Article 14 of the Constitution that talks about, equality before law and equal protection of law. And then we have Article 15 that talks about the prohibition, it actually prohibits discrimination based on gender. The next one is Article 15 Clause 3. This actually allows the state to make special provisions for women, okay, and children. Next one, Article 16. This guarantees equality of opportunity in the public employment. And these are all the fundamental. So these four are the fundamental rights. Next one is Article 39A, 39D and 42. These are the directive principles of state policy. 39A, it actually ensures the equal right to livelihood for both men and women. Next is 39D. This provides equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Next is Article 42. This actually mandates just as well as humane working condition and maternity relief. Okay. Next one is your fundamental duty, that is Article 51A. This actually promotes the duty to renounce the practices that are derogatory to that of women. And finally, you have the local self-governance articles over here, that is Article 243D and 243T, which actually says 33% of reservation for women in Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local bodies, that is the municipalities. Okay, so these are the constitutional provisions. So, moving forward, we will actually see what are the legislations. So, these legislations I'll actually take you through very, very quickly. The first one, what are the laws ensuring women's safety and protection? First one, of course, Dowry Prohibition Act. It bans the dowry, or both giving and taking dowry is banned. Okay, so be very, very careful. Next one, Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. So, of course, this act prevents the, or it protects or gives legal protection for women who are undergoing this particular what to say, domestic violence. Next is Sexual Harassment of Workplace. This ensures protection of women at the workplace as well. Next one is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, that is the replaced IPC. This strengthens the legal provision for women against any kind of sexual crimes also. Then you have POCSO Act that provides legal protection against the child sexual abuse. So these are certain laws that ensure women's safety and protection. Next one, what actually gives them the economic and workplace rights? First one is Equal Remuneration Act. Here from the name itself, both of them actually have to be given equal pay irrespective of the gender. Next is Maternity Benefit Act, and this got amended in the year 2017, where the number of maternity leaves or the weeks you actually get was increased from 12 to 26. Next one is the Factories Act. This regulates working conditions and actually ensures women's safety in the factories. Next one, laws ensuring women property and marriage rights. First one, Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005. This grants equal inheritance rights. Earlier what they say, they used to save all the property for the guys, right? And then they say that women once married actually belongs to the husband. Okay, so this is actually not a trade that is happening anymore. That is why we have this Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005, which has equal grant of inheritance by a male as well as a female, okay, in the parental property. Next one, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019. This criminalizes triple talaq, that is instant divorce. What and all these people have done in the name of social, this one, see. Next one, what are the other government schemes? The government schemes and initiatives, okay. We saw the regulations. Now let's see what are the initiatives. So, of course, we saw the establishment of one-stop centers which provide legal medical aid. Next one, Nirbhaya Fund. This allocates actually, resources for women's safety initiatives. Next, you have the She Box. This is nothing but online complaint mechanism, okay, in case you are undergoing any kind of harassment at workplace. Next one is Mahila Police Volunteers. This actually encourages community level reporting of crimes against women. Next one, this is with respect to safety and protection. Next is women education and skill development. Of course, we saw the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Next, we saw the national education policy. This focuses on reducing the gender disparities. Next is the Swayam and the E-Shod Sindhu. These are the learning opportunities that is online, which are available online for women. And finally, STEM education for women. This encourages the participation of women in the science and technology stream. Okay. Moving forward, their economic participation, for that we have the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, where under the National Rural Livelihood Mission, which empowers women through the self-help groups. Next, you have the PMMY, that is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, where collateral-free loans are actually given to the women entrepreneurs. Next one, Stand Up India scheme, where bank loans are provided to women-led enterprises. You need to understand these minuscule, differences. Okay. Next one, you have Mahila eHeart, an online marketing platform for women entrepreneurs. Next one is Udyam Sakhi portal. This provides excuse me, mentorship and business support for women entrepreneurs. Okay. So now let us quickly move forward and see what are all the initiatives for. Next is health and nutrition. Of course, you know the Matru Vandana Yojana, which provides financial aid to the pregnant and the lactating women. Next one, Janani Suraksha Yojana. This promotes institutional deliveries in order to reduce the maternal mortality rate. Next one is Poshan Abhiyan. Poshan, okay, this is food. So this is to address the malnutrition as well as anemia among women and children. Next one is your Ayushman Bharat, okay. Here it offers free healthcare to the economically disadvantaged, sections of society, specifically women. Next one, women's political participation. We saw 33% reservation that is brought for women in the Panchayati Raj institutions, and also we had the recent um, bill of 2023. Next one is women's reservation bill. This is what we spoke about. Nari Shakti Bandhan Abhiyan Adhiniyam of 2023, which again reserves 33% in the Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies. Okay, so these are few initiatives. And next one are also recent and very new initiatives that you need to know and which can come in the exam is Grameen Credit Score for SHG women. Here it's nothing but the public sector banks will develop a credit rating framework before giving a loan. If your score is good, of course, you're eligible for the loan. Next one, gender advancement for transforming institutions, that is Gati. This encourages women in order to participate in the STEM fields. Next one is PM Vishwakarma Yojana. This actually supports women artisans as well as craftsmen. Next one, Mission Shakti. This is nothing but it is an umbrella scheme. Here it integrates safety, security and empowerment programs for women. And finally, we have the Lakpati Didi scheme. This actually aims to create 2 crore Lakpati Didis, that is women who are earning around 1 lakh annually by promoting financial independence. Okay, so these are all the schemes that are actually there. Now, finally, we spoke about the Beijing Declaration, right? So far, what and all have we actually discussed? First, talking about, we saw what was the status of women in the ancient times, and then it moved on to the 19th century where there were a number of reforms, and finally we actually saw post independence what were all the landmark laws that were actually brought forward. And after that we actually saw the dimensions or the areas where there were number of improvements starting from education, health, take the STEM field and then skill development field, etc. And also we saw the corresponding challenges that actually women face in the society, specifically with respect to that of the economic empowerment, be it the decision taking chances or the money they actually spend, all that dependent on the male counterpart. Next one, we actually discussed about what were all the constitutional provisions that safeguarded or tried to establish gender parity in the economy. And after that, we saw what were all the initiatives that were actually brought about by the government in these particular dimensions where they were facing challenges. And now, finally, all this India has actually been doing taking guidelines also from global initiatives. Okay, apart from their inherent interest, there are also global inventions and frameworks that give the motivation for us to perform better. So one such is this Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. This was adopted at the 4th World Conference on Women, which actually took place in Beijing, China back in 1995, and the participants were around 189 countries, that included India. And what is your objective in order to promote the gender equality and women's empowerment globally? And next one, the framework. I told you it identified 12 critical framework. What to say, key areas, right? What are the areas? It included poverty, then education and training, take it health, then violence against women, their economic empowerment, decision making, institutional mechanisms, etc. And finally, what is the significant? It is actually one of the most comprehensive global blueprint for advancing women rights. And finally, the review mechanism is that the progress of the member nations are actually reviewed every 5 years by UN Women. What is this UN Women? This is actually an entity of the United Nations. Okay, so entity of United Nations. So with this, we are actually completing the first most important topic on women. Also, women centric topics, why are they actually called the vulnerable sections of the population? We saw most of the schemes over here. Apart from this, what is the kind of difficulty they actually face? All these are important not only for your governance but also in your ethics. Okay, so as a woman, what would you do? As an officer, what would you do when a woman is in trouble? All those things, or what is the kind of action you will take towards the vulnerable sections, that is women? In case of domestic violence, what would you do? All these kind of questions can be asked in your ethics. So you need to have a holistic idea of what is the situation of women over here, and significant women contributors starting from science and technology, or even in the war starting from Rani Lakshmi Bai, etc. You need to know. Now let us move forward to discuss the second topic, that is Assam governor will now head the autonomous councils if polls are delayed. I already gave you an idea. We are going to discuss about autonomous district council and what is the sixth schedule, and also we will actually compare it with the fifth schedule. Next one, in with respect to polity, prelims it's important from polity perspective, and for mains it is actually important from constitution issues arising out of implementation of policies. Okay, now let's quickly move forward and see what has been the question asked in the previous year 2020 prelims examination. So the provisions in the fifth schedule and the sixth schedule in the constitution is actually made in order to protect the interest of tribes, between states, etc. That is, determine the boundaries between states, determine the powers, authorities and responsibilities. All this you need to know. Okay, so now let us actually move forward and see why this particular article is in news. I told you Assam Assembly has been passing the amendment bills regarding 7 autonomous councils, okay, authorizing the governor to take over the functions of these councils. Okay, so if the elections are not held, then you actually take up. I'll actually build you a story. What happens is the sixth schedule of the constitution identifies certain tribal areas. So these tribal areas are majorly from 4 different states. That actually includes Assam, that includes Meghalaya, that includes Mizoram and Tripura. Okay, so from these regions, what happens? 10 tribal areas are identified by the sixth schedule, and each tribal area constitutes an autonomous district, and each autonomous district is governed by an autonomous council. So this is nothing but it is called as the autonomous district council. So we will actually see what are the roles and functions of this autonomous district council, and when and which are the situations where the governor has the power, whether the laws that have been made by the parliament as well as the state legislature actually applies here or not. All that we will see. Very, very important for your prelims examination. So what is the sixth schedule? This provides governance of the tribal areas which are located in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, so this actually ensures the protection of the rights of the tribal communities in these 4 states. Remember that. Okay, AMTM or AM square T, however you actually make your mnemonic, and the provisions are actually given as special provisions under Article 244 clause 2 and 275 subclause 1. This was enacted by the Constituent Assembly in 1949 in order to grant autonomy, but limited autonomy to these particular tribal regions in the northeast specifically, and this was given based on the recommendations of the Bardoloi committee. Very, very, very important. And here, under the 6th schedule, tribals are actually granted the authority. That is, they have the legislative and the executive powers, and how they can execute it through the autonomous regions, or you can say autonomous regional councils or the autonomous district councils. Now, let us see this particular concept of autonomous district council. So, as I told you, 6th schedule defines so many 10 tribal areas under these 4 states, and each tribal area constitutes an autonomous district constituted, and this is governed by autonomous district council. And these ADCs, they actually operate within the state with varying levels of autonomy, and that is actually given by the central government within the framework of the state legislature. Very, very important. And what are the 10 autonomous district councils so far in these 4 states? In Assam, we have the North Kachar Hills, the Karbi Anglong, and then we have the Bodoland territory areas. Then we have in Meghalaya the Kashi, the Jaintia, as well as the Garo Hills. So locating these on the map also is very, very important. In Tripura, you see the Tripura tribal areas, and Mizoram we have the Chakma, the Mara, as well as the Lai districts. Okay. Now we have seen what is 6th schedule and what are these particular ADCs. What are the powers and functions of ADCs? First one, they can make laws and they can regulate certain things. Make laws on what? On the management of land, on the management of forest, and that does not include your reserved forest. Okay, so it makes land, regulations or laws on the land management, the forest management, excluding the reserve forest, appointment of traditional chiefs, the headmen, and other tribal customs. They also regulate matters. What are the regulating matters? Inheritance of property, marriage, divorce, establishment of village courts, etc., and also regulates lending of money by non-tribals, and this can actually the regulating the money lending and the trading by the non-tribals, but this actually requires the assent of the governor. Now it can also establish or build and manage primary schools. It can establish or build, manage dispensaries, the markets, the ferries, the fisheries, and the roads in the district. The other areas I told you, it includes water, agriculture, then village council, health, sanitation, and other things like, the what to say, town level policy making, the inheritance, marriage, divorce, social customs, mining, etc. So once question on mining was asked, and it was under schedule 5. So you need to know this. Now, moving forward, what are the revenue sources? Of course, through taxes only. They actually levy taxes on the professions, the traders, the trades, as well as the employment, even on the animals, the vehicles, as well as the boats, and also taxes on the goods entering the markets, the taxes, on for the maintenance of the schools, dispensaries, or the roads. It's actually levied, and that is what is the funding, or that's how it gets the budget or the funding. Membership, as I already told you, there are 30 members and 5-year term. Okay, this is a 5-year term since the establishment, and 4 are nominated by the governor and 26 are elected through adult branches. Okay, that is voting. Next one, the nominated members actually serve under the pleasure of the governor. That is, if he does not like it, he can he can remove. Okay, so this is what is the membership. Next one, what is the role of the governor in this autonomous district councils? Here, he can actually reorganize the boundaries of the tribal areas. He can either increase their size or it can decrease the boundaries of these areas, or he can even unite 2 of the autonomous districts. Okay, so here he can reorganize the boundaries and increase or decrease the boundaries. He can also alter or change the name of the regions, okay, without any kind of separate legislation. Very, very important. and also he can appoint a particular commission in order to investigate, and which actually gives a report on the administration of these regions. And when they actually give some recommendations, based on that the governor can also dissolve a district or regional council. Okay, so this is what it is. Now finally, let us see what is the difference between the fifth and the sixth schedule. Very, very important. Fifth schedule applicability is that certain scheduled areas are declared by the president if he deems that this particular area is a what to say, it's a scheduled area under the fifth schedule. The president can actually declare, but both of them are tribal areas only, don't worry. So currently there are 10 states. Here specifically the tribal areas are actually chosen only from the northeastern states. What are the four states? Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram as well as Tripura. Okay. Here, administrative body is the Tribal Advisory Council TAC. Here, it's the Autonomous District Council or the Regional Councils. Here, what are the powers? It actually is created, okay, by the Legislative Assembly. So, it has limited powers only, which are mostly executive. Whereas here, it has extensive powers. It has executive powers, it has legislative powers, it has judicial powers also, all derived from the Constitution. And next one, the PESA Act, that is what? This Panchayati Raj Act, okay? This act is actually applicable here, whereas it is not applicable under the sixth schedule. Do you understand? So this is what it is. Now let us actually move towards the next article. This is easy. The government has actually launched the AI Kosha, and here it is actually one of the 7 pillars of the India AI mission. So this is very, very important for your prelims as well as the mains. Under prelims, it is actually important for science also, because AI is under science, okay, or technology. The next one, GS paper 3, mains examination, awareness in the fields of IT, and then space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, as well as IPR. So this is very, very important. Now let's move forward and see. There has been a question on the emergence of digital revolution. Okay, that is a fourth revolution, is also called as the digital revolution. So you need to talk about how it has actually helped in the e-governance and how it is an integral part of the government. This is what you need to discuss. Next one, here, why is it in news? The union government has actually launched AI Kosh, which is nothing but, it is going to have a data set. In order to have your own AI model, such as your chat GPT or DeepSeek, what you have to do, you have to give information to this platform, right, and train it. That is when tomorrow when you ask a question, based on all the repository of data set, it can actually answer the query that you have raised. So similarly, like chat GPT, what happens? India also wants to have its own AI model. So for that, what you need to do? You need to have the repository of data. And for this only, we have this particular AI course that has been launched. Okay, so which is nothing but an AI dataset repository, which is designed in order to centralize and facilitate the development of an AI model. Okay, very simple. Now, let's quickly understand what is this AI course. I told you it's a repository. It does not have any kind of your personal data. It's only having non-personal databases, and this is laying a foundation for the training of the future AI model in India. And this provides access to around 316 data sets. Okay, so what all it actually focuses on? First, Indian language translation models in order to enhance multilingual AI capability. So you can use it across different languages. Okay, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi, etc. Next one, health data it will actually have, so that it will be helpful for medical research as well as AI based or AI assisted diagnostics. Next one, census 2011, it provides valuable insights about the demographic insights. Next one is satellite imagery as well as environmental metrics. Okay, this is actually more important for taking climate actions as well as urban planning, etc. And next is, the goal is to accelerate the AI research, improve or bring about efficient governance, foster technology as well as innovation. And it is one of the 7 pillars of the national AI mission, which aims to establish an robust AI ecosystem in the country. So this is what it is. Now moving forward, let us see what is AI mission. This is a government backed initiative. Of course, it's not private. In order to position India as a global leader in AI research, development as well as deployment, and the budget allocation for it is around 10,000 370 crores. Okay, it has been released by the recent budget. So if you see, this is India AI, and here it is actually a MEITI and NASSCOM initiative. Very, very important. Okay, so MEITI, okay, electronics and IT. Next one, so here it actually has various components like compute capacity, where you need to build enough sufficient infrastructure, and then future skills, India startup financing, safe and trusted AI, how it's going to be applicable, the data set platform. These are not that important, you just have to know it, that's it. Now moving forward, we will see what is India AI mission. In that only we saw it is a government backed initiative, and now it is having 7 pillars. Apart from this AI Kosh, that is India AI data set platform, we will actually have 6 other. One is compute capacity, where they will provide you access. Okay, so this there will be shared access to GPUs, that is nothing but your graphic processing units for the startups and the research institutions in order to develop the AI models. Next one, AI research and innovation, where you actually encourage the AI driven startups and projects in collaboration with that of the academia. Next, you have the talent development, where you actually train the IT professionals, okay, in the courses in the universities. Next, AI in governance, that is bring AI oriented solutions, okay, in order to bring about efficiency in the public services. Next one, safe and ethical AI, where you need to have a proper regulatory framework so that it monitors if the artificial intelligence is actually used very, very ethically, as well as data protection. And finally, you have the international collaboration. That is, you need to collaborate and have diplomatic agreements with other countries so that there is strengthening or strengthened AI partnerships. Okay. Now, let us actually move forward and see AI governance and policy, whether it's a strategic move. What are the policy measures that the government has actually taken in this particular regard is that first one is appointment of chief data officers across the ministries in order to oversee and manage the data or the data sets effectively. Next one, we also have this open governance data platform data.gov.in. So this actually has over 12,000 data sets in order to support the policy making and AI research. Next one, we have the national AI strategy. This was actually brought about by Niti Aayog's vision to integrate AI in healthcare, agriculture, education and smart cities, that is urban planning. Next one, you have National Program on AI 2019, a MEITI initiative in order to establish AI centers of excellence. Next, you have the AI RAWAT, that is called as the AIRAWAT. This is nothing but AI research, analytics and knowledge assimilation platform. Next one, you have AI centers of excellence. And finally, we have responsible AI for the youth program. So these are all certain programs you need to know, because now AI is actually in the phase of booming, and we are trying to inculcate AI in different sectors, okay, of the society, whether be it governance, or be it elections, and be it science and technology, that is specifically with respect to healthcare, education, etc. So this is what it is. Next one, we also have the NDGFP, that is the National Data Governance Framework, which is actually to give you open access to non-personal data sets. And we have the Bhuvan AI by ISRO in order to, it is nothing but AI powered satellite imagery analysis for the land as well as disaster management. And followed by that, AI in judiciary, okay, they are actually using for legal research and case management. And next one, AI enabled grievance redressal system. Okay, so this is for automated public complaint resolution. So when you have a complaint, you can go and type it over there, it will give you a solution. Now, the final article that we'll be discussing today is Pashu Aushadhi Initiative for Health of Livestock. Here itself, this is actually focused, right? How will you enhance it? By providing affordable generic medicines, and also you provide them the veterinary medicine. We will actually see what is it, ethnoveterinary medicine. Okay, so here we'll be discussing about Pashu Aushadhi Kendras, and this is important for both the prelims as well as the mains examination under mobilization, resources, growth, development and employment. Now let's move forward and see why, what is a PYQ. So with reference to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, these kind of initiatives of the government of course become very important. The beneficiaries and who participate in that, what is the eligibility criteria, what is the benefit that you actually receive. If for example the Fasal Bima Yojana, what is going to be the premium, what is going to be what to say, whether the farmer should have land holding or not, whether that has a cap or not, all that you need to know. Okay, so now moving forward, let us actually see. The government of India has recently announced the launch of the Pashu Aushadhi stores across the country in order to help the people who are involved in animal husbandry, that is involving the cattle, etc., or the livestock, as well as dairying, that is in the milk production, etc., by ensuring that they have access to quality as well as cost effective healthcare in terms of generic medicines. Okay, so now let's move forward and understand what is the background. Recently we actually had the 20th livestock census, right, released in 2019, according to which the total livestock population, what do you mean by livestock, it includes your cattle, it includes your sheep, okay, it has goats, etc. So the total population was around 535.78 million, okay, 535.78 million. And then you have the bovine population. This is nothing but these are bigger animals, like you have the what to say, cattle, the buffalo, the cows, etc., which actually account to around 302.79. Okay, next, if you see the role that they play, they actually enhance the livelihood of the people living in the rural areas, contributing to dairy, poultry, as well as meat industries. Moving forward, if you see the status of India with respect to that of milk production, we are the highest milk producing country in the world, and dairy is supposed to be the major source of our rural income. Okay, so this is how our economy is placed. Next one, what are the existing challenges? There are, however, extremely very catastrophic or very what to say, very deadly diseases that are actually caused in these cattle, like the foot and mouth disease, the brucellosis, the PPR, the cerebrospinal fluid, as well as the lumpy skin disease. Okay, and also there is actually increased out of pocket expenditure that is incurred on these veterinary medicines as well as the treatment, because there are less of vaccinations that are available, and the affordable medicines are also getting lower day by day. So now in that light only we had this Pashu Aushadhi Kendras. Okay, so what are these Pashu Aushadhi Kendras? First of all, these are government backed stores, okay, which were modeled based on the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendras. If you see the branded medicines, okay, they are extremely costly, but with the same kind of ingredient or with the same kind of active ingredient, the dosage or the strength, there are other non-branded medicines, okay, which are affordable also. So these are called as your generic medicines. Okay, so the objective is affordable and generic veterinary medicines that are provided to reduce the farmers' healthcare expenditure, and also it is part of the livestock health and disease control program. Okay, so this is actually very important. Livestock health and disease control program. The budget allocation is around 4,000 crores for this particular program, and 75 crore has been allocated for this particular program, that is Pashu Aushadhi Kendras. Now, moving forward, we will see the implementation of these stores. Okay, so the stores will be actually run by the cooperative societies as well as the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samriddhi Kendras, and the guidelines how it has to be run, etc., how much medicines have to be given, and what is the stock that you need to take, what you need to produce in the future, what are supposed to be not produced, all that will be provided by the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, not Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Okay, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy. Next one, ethno-veterinary medicines are provided. What is this? These medicines are based on the traditional practices and the knowledge we actually produce. So we actually have, so stores will sell the traditional and the indigenous medicines for the livestock, and these are compiled by National Dairy Development board. Again, very, very important. Next one, the diseases targeted. We saw the foot and mouth disease, the brucellosis, the lumpy skin disease, the mastitis, etc. And next one, expected benefits, of course, reduces out of pocket expenses, prevention of livestock disease outbreaks, and increased milk and meat production. This actually leads to better rural incomes. Okay, now let us quickly solve a mains practice question. This actually reads, the Beijing Declaration 1995, this marked a significant milestone in the global journey towards gender equality. Now, reflecting on India's progress in gender equality and women empowerment, you critically examine the key interventions and the challenges that remain for achieving the true gender parity in the country. So here you will actually talk about, since the Beijing Declaration is the beginning, you will give a brief introduction of the Beijing Declaration in India's commitment to gender equality, and also you will mention the progress. But however, there are ongoing challenges is what you will discuss. In the body, you will talk about how has been the status of women in India since the ancient and the medieval times, and how it has actually transcended the current situation in terms of education, where the literacy rate has actually increased. And then if you see in case of healthcare, there have been betterment in institutional deliveries. Next one, economic participation, that is female labor force participation is increasing. Next one is political representation, safety, protection, digital and financial literacy, how they are all doing. However, there are number of challenges. Okay, and also you will be here and there you will have to insert these constitutional rights as well. Okay, and then you will actually talk about the challenges, that there are persistent social norms, there are economic inequalities. So women are actually still involved in the gender rolled gender based roles, etc., and gender based violence, domestic violence, and sexual harassment of them at workplace. All of them are there. So that actually renders them as a vulnerable section of the society, is what you will discuss here. And finally, you will talk about how there has been continuous and significant strides India has been making, having guidelines as the Beijing Declaration. And now we need to ahead, the road ahead has to be with respect to policy enforcement, the social empowerment, as well as inclusive governance. Okay, so this is what it is. Now, moving forward, we will actually look at the MCQs that were taken up yesterday. So, which of the following statements regarding the India-US trade relations is correct? Okay. The US is India's second largest export partner. No. It is first largest export destination after China. Okay. So, this is wrong. It is first. US is the first. Next one, India exports more to the US than it imports from the US. Yes, this is correct. Next one, the total trade volume between India and US is lower than that with EU. No, this is also wrong. It is actually greater, and trade disputes between both the nations actually will be resolved with signing of a free trade agreement. Both our countries do not have a free trade agreement. Again, this is wrong, since only B is the statement, B is the, it sounds right. So this is actually the correct answer. So answer is option B. Next one, consider the following statements with respect to accredited social health activist ASHAs. This has also been in your exam once, okay? So ASHAs were launched as a part of National Urban Health Mission. No, it was National Rural Health Mission. Next one, they are primarily involved in providing tertiary medical care to the rural population. No, they don't provide tertiary medical care and all. They actually spread the awareness about health. So this is what it is. So this is wrong. Next one, ASHAs act as a link between the community and the public health system, promoting the health awareness and facilitating access to the healthcare services. Yes, this is correct. So since only statement 3 is correct, again your answer here is going to be option B. Now, moving forward, here again you need to know what is the difference between the ASHA workers as well as the Anganwadi workers, okay? Because Anganwadi workers, they majorly focus on early childhood development, and then there is more of preventive care over there, okay? So they take care of malnutrition, etc. But ASHA workers, they majorly focus on, what to say, they act as a bridge between creating awareness between the healthcare systems as well as the general public. So this is as per the National Rural Health Mission, that is the ASHA workers, whereas Anganwadi will be as a part of what? The ICDS, okay? So very, very important, ICDS 1995. Now, moving forward, with reference to the Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority, that is CAMPA, consider the following. CAMPA was established to manage the funds collected for compensatory afforestation and ecological restoration. Perfect. Under the CAMPA Act, 100% of the collected funds remain with the National CAMPA for nationwide afforestation projects. No, 90% goes to the state and 10 remains with the center. Okay, then the funds, so this is wrong. So the funds collected under CAMPA can be used for administrative expenses. No, they are actually exclusively kept only for the afforestation purposes. So this is also wrong. So since only statement 1 is correct, here your answer will be option A. Now the next set of questions are the questions that have actually been designed, that have been prepared for you to answer visiting our website, the link of which is provided below in the comment section. So here under which schedule of the Constitution of India, autonomous district councils are established. So you should know whether it is the 5th schedule or the 6th schedule. Next one with respect to AI Kosh as well as the India AI mission. And the final one is with respect to Pashu Aushadhi Kendras, whether they will provide the branded veterinary medicines at affordable with how much of accuracy you can solve this particular question. So with this, we've actually come to the end of the DNA discussion. So for more interactive and qualitative sessions, please do like, share and subscribe to Narayana IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.